Okay, now since now that 2021 is now officially over, I think now wouldn't be in a better time than now for me to share my opinions of my top 10 favourite movies of 2021. Now, of course, I didn't see every movie this year, but when actually come think of it, there are heaps of movies that came out this year that I still haven't seen. But I will talk about the ones that I did see and where they fit on my favourites and why they're my favourites and why they have left a memorable impact on me. The things that they did very well, and overall just have some fun. So let's go. So coming up at number 10 for me was Black Widow. Now for me this definitely was the weakest Marvel movie of 2021. The word definitely some aspects that it could have done better. But overall I did find this to be still an enjoyable Marvel movie, a little bit different from most of them, a bit of a darker tone. We get to know the backstory of Black Widow and her history with her Russian family and just how things unfolded. It did have a pretty good villain. It had some memorable action, but overall I do feel like it could have worked out better despite it took like forever to release. It took like almost a year for this movie to come out, and I do think that maybe given that time they could have tweaked a few things, but overall still a solid movie all around and definitely one that is worth watching. Taking the number 9 spot is the newest 007 film, No Time to Die. I thought that many of these action sequences in this movie was pretty incredible. It was very well shot, very well directed. I really liked Billie Eilish's opening song, though the plot itself does have a few weaknesses. For one thing, I not sure if I really thought it was the best choice to kill off Daniel Craig's James Bond. I thought they could have did something maybe a little bit more original with his character, or a little bit more subversive than just killing him off. Maybe they could have maybe just had him retire and achieve some emotional closure for all the shit that's happened to him in all of his movies. And I did find this to be a very sad and sort of climactic way to end the character of Daniel Craig's Bond. I kind of thought they could have done something a little bit more uplifting for the final hurrah for this character. That was my main problem with it, but it was still a very enjoyable movie. They actually gave Bond a couple of gadgets to use this time, and they actually made Q useful for the first time in a really long time. And all of the returning actors did a good job. You can see that Daniel Craig is getting very tired of playing this character, and it does kind of show in this movie. He does seem a bit aloof. More aloof than the previous Bond films. So I think it's a good idea to have Daniel Craig and his work here as James Bond as the 007 franchise desperately scrambles to find another replacement to keep this franchise going for another 5 to 10 years and wherever the hell it's going to go after that. Coming in at number 8 was a film that honestly surprised me, and that was Free Guy. It was definitely what I wanted the Matrix Resurrections to be, but what the Matrix Resurrections kind of failed to be, and that was kind of being a bit more existential and giving us a few philosophical themes throughout. Basically about the story of a self-aware AI character who starts to question his existence and his place in this world that he realizes is a video game. It was very well written, had a lot of funny moments in it, and Ryan Reynolds played played a decent, a pretty good performance as Guy. He's a very likable actor. He's has a lot of positive energy in this movie, and he's a very rootable character. And all of the supporting characters, including Taika Waititi, he was pretty good in the movie. And overall, an enjoyable movie that I actually watched 2 times in the theatre. There was only one other movie that in this list that I watched 2 times, so that's saying something. It was a very fun movie, and it was smartly written and an original idea. Coming in at number 7 is Disney's Jungle Cruise with Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt. This was a movie that I was excited for because I have been on the Jungle Cruise ride at Disneyland a really long time ago, and I was interested to see how they would turn that ride into a movie, just the same way that they turned the Pirates of the Caribbean ride into a movie almost 2 decades ago now. And I was surprised of just how good this movie was. It was a real adventure. The special effects and CGI were all very creative and lush looking. I loved the location. I just love tropical jungle, so this was kind of the movie for me. There was good writing, some really good comedy and banter between Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt. And overall, it was just a very funny and memorable movie with a really good sense of adventure. And it was interesting. It was an interesting adventure. It was very visually stunning, and overall just a really fun time at the movies and a really good effort from Disney. So at the 6th spot is another Disney movie, and it was Pixar's latest movie, Luca. I had a really good time with this movie. It was really cute. The characters were very cute and very well written. It was a very beautiful looking movie. I really loved the location of the town on the Italian Riviera. It had a great atmosphere. It just I just really liked the overall vibe of this movie. And of course, Pixar's animation gets better with every installment. And there was kind of like a refreshing change of pace. I've heard people criticize this movie that there wasn't really the stakes were a lot lower compared to previous Pixar stories, but I just really liked how relaxed it all was, and how it wasn't this overly fantastical, has to have a big climax and a big emotional finale, which is kind of like a daily slice of life type of movie. And it still had a climax, but it was a lot more grounded down to earth compared to a lot of Disney movies, and I liked that. And I thought it was a refreshing change to see from Disney. I had a really good time with Shang-Chi. It was the choreography in it and the kung fu was it really just blew me away of just how good it was and just how well choreographed it all was. I have never heard of Shang-Chi in any Marvel comic or anything I know from Marvel before this movie, so it really goes to show that at this point Marvel really has to dig deep into their history to find new characters that they want to make into a movie. And I had a good time with it. All of the actors did a really good job. I liked the villain, how it was his father, and how the villain actually had a very complicated relationship with his with Shang-Chi, the son. It was there was a lot more layers to it than just your generic bad guy villain who just stands around being bad for the sake of being bad. Had some really good comedy in it. Bill Kingsley makes a return as the Mandarin from Iron Man 3. Thought that was a nice touch. I really liked the special effects. They really got the overall Chinese vibe down really well. Had comedy as well. And overall just a really fun and memorable Marvel movie. At number 4 for me is Ridley Scott's The Last Duel, starring Matt Damon, Adam Driver, and Jodie Comer. And it tells the story of a medieval king whose wife is sexually assaulted by his former squire, and it's basically Jodie Comer's story of rising up to justice, and her story of empowerment to bring her abuser to justice in the form of a duel. And it's kind of a story of it's basically a story of female empowerment in the medieval age, and it is based off a true story. And this film did bomb at the box office, unfortunately. I did see it in the theatre, though. I was like the only one that was there. There was probably maybe 2 or 3 other people that were watching it with me. And it's a shame, because it is a good story that needed to be told. And I can see why Ridley Scott is upset that it didn't make that much money. It was just too unconventional compared to all the rest of the movies that came out this year. And so if you like this movie and you want to support Ridley Scott, then I would suggest that you go buy this on Blu-ray or something and give him some money, because this was a very brave film from him and a brave story to tell, and I respect him for that. So coming in at number 3 is Wrath of Man, directed by Guy Ritchie, starring Jason Statham, and it's basically a revenge story about a security officer who tries to achieve this heist. And I thought this was a really good action movie. It was a very well directed movie. I do like Jason Statham. I think he's a really good badass actor who plays a lot of great roles. It was overall just a really, really well directed and well planned out movie with lots of really good stunt sequences and action sequences. It had it just had me invested from the start to the end, and it was a very solid movie. And I saw it with my friend, and he really liked it, and it was overall a very satisfying movie for me. And as I said, Jason Statham just knocked it out of the park on this one. So the number 2 spot is Nobody, directed by Ilya Nalusha, starring Bob Odenkirk. And I realised that Ilya Nalusha also directed Hardcore Henry, which was a very innovative action movie directed in the first person perspective, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fresh take, something real original and something that we haven't really seen before. And even though this movie doesn't follow that same style of Hardcore Henry, it is just a extremely well directed fighting movie with a great revenge story. I thought Bob Odenkirk completely knocked it out of the park on this one, on his stunt work and his choreography and fighting skills behind the camera. It just blew me away of just how good the action was in this movie, and just how well written all the characters were. I'm saying Bob Odenkirk is very underrated. I loved him in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's always fun to watch. He knows how to act, and overall this was just an incredible standout movie for me that gets better every single time I watched it. And so now we come down to my number 1 favourite movie of 2021 spot. I'm pretty sure a lot of you already know what this has been leading up to, what my answer will be. And it's pretty obvious by now. And this movie basically blew me away in every possible way. It was directed very well. Every character did their job very well. All the actors played their part in delivering a great performance, and it was just basically a movie where fan service was done right, and it was just a perfect balance. A rare thing that you see between companies these days, collaborating to make something great, and that movie is... Yes, my favourite movie of 2021 was definitely Spider-Man and No Way Home, directed by John Watts. I loved everything about this movie. I loved how they were able to bring back all the characters, or many of the characters from the original previous Spider-Man movies, and not have it seem forced or cheesy, or have it fall flat or fall apart in any way. It was just really a marvel, no pun intended, to see everything come together almost perfectly and deliver a very good feel-good movie that has a lot to say. It deals with the struggles of revenge, and the other Peter Parker's telling Tom Holland's Peter Parker that revenge isn't the answer. I liked that. I liked how all the villains were eventually redeemed, which is something that we barely see at all in any movie ever. And I just loved how they dared to go further beyond and actually do that. I thought that was a very bold move. The direction is great. All the actors did their job very well. Tom Holland is very talented, as well as Zendaya. They have excellent chemistry together. As I said, with Marvel, they have the incredible task of getting so many characters and getting them all to work well with each other, and this is definitely one of their best movies yet. Definitely see it if you haven't seen it already. It's a great movie, and it's my favourite film of 2021. So yeah, that's it. That's my top 10 list of 2021. I hope you enjoyed my list. It was definitely a ride this year with a lot of movies. Still many that I still haven't seen yet. There were so many movies. A lot of Netflix, made for Netflix movies came out this year. Really, since COVID is making movie productions harder and harder to make and to release in theatres, it's giving a lot of Netflix companies the opportunity to make something for Netflix, and I have definitely watched a lot of stuff on streaming services this year, and I will definitely review more stuff that I've seen, and definitely let me know what your thoughts are. Definitely let me know in the comments below, and as always, take care.